All right, I'd like to work through an example of solving equations, a system of equations using the method called substitution. Now, I've gone through a video already, and you can take a look at some of the other links that goes through the process of substitution without any need to isolate a variable. But in this case here, we're going to need to isolate one of our variables in order to solve this system. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at our 5-step process. And I'm just going to kind of go through them with you. I don't have them written out here, but I'm going to go through these steps with you, and we're going to try to solve our system here. Step 1, okay, is we need to solve for one of the variables. We need to isolate one of the variables. Now you'll notice that in that first equation, we have 3x and 4y. In the second equation, we have an x and a 2y. To make things as easy as possible, try to find the variable that might be the easiest to isolate. If we look there, we're going to notice that there's an x all by itself. That might be easy to isolate. I mean, there is still a step, but let's use that second equation there. So let's bring that equation over here, and let's try to isolate for it. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 2y from both sides, okay? And when we do that, we're going to get this right here. X is equal to 2 minus 2y. That is sometimes how easy it is to isolate the variable. Now, if there had been a coefficient in front of the x, I would now need to divide everything by that coefficient. So that could add a bit of a wrinkle. But in this case here, this is how easy it can be. Get one of the variables by itself. In this case, I decided to take x. All right, I used the second equation to isolate for x. So now I'm going to take the first equation and I am going to solve for one of my variables. Okay, so this is step 2 here. We now need to replace one of the variables with something else that equals to that variable. Well, we know that the x value is equal to 2 minus 2y. So in this equation, and this can be maybe a bit of a challenge here, in this equation, we are going to substitute 2 minus 2y, because that's what x is, in for the x value. And it's going to look something like this. Now, I've put it into red just to show you what part was substituted, and it's in brackets. Okay, it's 3 times x. So we have to multiply the value of x, which we're given as a polynomial here. We have to multiply that by 3. Okay, and that's going to be our next step here. So our next piece to solving it, so we're solving for y now. That's the step we're looking at. Is we need to multiply the 3 through the brackets. 3 times 2 is 6. And so this is going to be 6 minus 6y plus 4y, that part stays by itself, is equal to negative 4. All right, we've gotten rid of the brackets. That's usually step 1. That's usually the first thing we need to do. And so it's a good thing we got rid of that. And now we're going to collect our like terms and solve for the variable, which happens to be y. So collect our like terms. Negative 6y and positive 4y is going to give us negative 2y. So I've combined those ones together now. Let's subtract 6 from both sides. And that's going to, so we get rid of the 6. So that means we're left with negative 2y equals negative 10. Remember that negative stays in front of the 2y. Finally, divide both sides by negative 2. And we are told that y is equal to 5. All right, so now we have found our y value for this system. Okay, the answer to the system, we know the y value has to be 5. At this point, now we are going to put this y value that we know, we're going to substitute it back into one of the equations and solve for x. Now, again, I'm going to try to take the easy one if I can, and I'm going to take the second one, and I'm going to substitute the 5 in for y. So it's 2 times y, but now I have it as 2 times 5. 2 times 5 is 10. We're going to subtract 10 from and we're going to get that x is equal to negative 8. And so therefore we know that negative 8, 5 is the answer to this question. Okay, so this is the point where these two lines meet. Now it does take a little bit of work. We have to go through and follow all 5 steps that I went through in order to solve. Okay, some of it's going to involve going through using algebra to solve, But that is what is needed to come up with our answer. And at the end, we're going to come up with a point x, y, -8, +5. And that's going to be the answer to this system. It's where these two meet. It's where they're going to intersect. I hope this helped you. All the best as you work through any questions you might have. I hope you have someone with you, or you might be able to ask me if you have any questions as you're trying to solve. Bye.